Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Hey, Mike, fantastic. What about yourself? How are things
Uh,
down in Pensacola today?
Things are fantastic. Can't complain. We're all getting off of the 4th of July holiday and back hitting it hard. So I appreciate you joining me today. I'm Mike Stewart. I'm joined with Paul Dorsey, and we're going to talk a little bit about two terms that are commonly used in franchising. Um, so Paul's been in the franchise business for quite some time, but two of those terms are area developer and master franchise. And can you maybe elaborate what those terms typically mean?
Well, sure, and really, there's probably four different terms, and as you know too, there's 3,000 different brands and 75 different industries in franchising, and then within that, there's a type. So a type of franchise is not necessarily a brand of franchise, and the types of franchises is a single unit franchise, a multi-unit franchise, an area developer, which you and I have been discussing, and also a master franchise. And then we can continue to break down each one of those types of franchises into their own separate categories.
So how would you describe an area developer? I think that's kind of a good starting point that a lot of just people aren't familiar with that, even having access to that.
Great. So at Jantize America, I sell and support area developers. An area developer are big picture guys who quote unquote work on the business, not in the business. And most franchises at Jantize America and many others, the area developer becomes the regional hub for within the territory. And the area developer's two primary roles is the franchise sales or franchise recruitment, and along with account sales or customers for those franchisees to service.
Fantastic. Well put too. So I know a lot of people I work with, they get concerns about maybe building and growing a brand in a certain small zip code or multiple cities. Does that protect somebody a little bit more if they want a bigger picture and more protection of an area?
Absolutely. So most area developers would buy a major city such as Charlotte or Tampa or maybe even Chicago, and then they have the rights to develop typically a 35-mile radius around that major city, could include three, four, sometimes even five counties. It's the unit franchisees which then would buy into a zip code or a territory to serve their customers.
Okay, awesome way to protect. Again, that comes up a lot of growing a brand in maybe a new market that it hasn't seen the brand before, and then next thing you know, there's somebody beside you with the same brand. So it definitely gives a better layer of protection and certainly a great way to build wealth.
Sure.
So what about master franchise? That's another term that I think a lot of people get confused with.
Yeah, so again, master franchise, area developer, regional franchise, regional director, there's all sorts of these different terms that different franchisors use. And what I believe a true master franchise would buy a country. So we're in negotiations right now with some guys out of Canada. They would actually become Jantize Canada. We would change the American flag to a maple leaf flag. We'd have to change maybe some of the literature to French in some of those French cities. They would also take care of all the billings, the credit, the collections, all those hassles and headaches. And in turn, those master franchisors would sell and support the area developers, who those area developers would sell and support the local unit franchises.
Awesome. That's maybe you've said that before. I think you've laid that out where it's easy to digest. So even maybe if you could find a brand that you like and find a place that you could be, maybe it's a different country or a different area that you could take on, bring that franchise into, and then relay that out to more of your area.
Yep, there's some great franchise experts that you and I know, and maybe they'll chime in later or shoot us some comments, and they know more about this. Even the IFA knows more about the whole separations of a franchise, multi-unit area developer, and master franchise. Sometimes it even has to do with, hey, where's the 1099 going? What's the
That's right.
money flow and how does that work? That would also separate the terminology between an area developer and a master franchise.
Yeah.
Some franchise brands, and I can't speak to the 3,000 or different brands out there, but some of them set it up so the area developer has to run a unit franchise first, or they have to have a multi-unit franchise, and then they become the area developer. So each of those individual brands may do some different things within their business.
I think that hopefully it's very helpful to everyone listening. The flip side of that is I work with people who are looking to create a franchise and franchise their existing small business. So that should get the wheels turning for how do you go about that. So real quick as we wrap up though, I want to hear a little bit about what your brand is, because you're in a space that I love. It's scalable. It has repeat revenue streams. And what I love most about it, you're not looking down your back for Amazon to come take over your business. You're in a very neat space that a lot of people have interest in or should have interest in.
Sure, nice. And nobody's interested in being a janitor, of course. And that's where Jantize America, we're looking for executive sales and management guys who want to scale a huge business, building residual revenue streams. But back to the franchise thing too, Mike, that everybody may or may not know. The unit franchisee is actually spelled franchise and ends EE. The multi-unit franchisee is actually spelled and ends with two E's. The area developer is end franchise with an ER, and then the master franchise or is actually spelled with an ending of an OR. So there's different types of spelling in Webster's dictionary for these different types of franchises. And I tell the kids, hey, you want to be a franchisee or a franchisor? And remember your guy Eeyore from the 100 Woods, right?
Right,
So
right.
I'm sorry I went off subject there a little bit, but I wanted to make sure I added that.
I love it. I'm trying to force you to talk about your brand. You're still educating us on bigger picture things. It's love it.
Well, my philosophy I believe it is, if I can speak today, is the more I can help other people get their goals and reach the things that they want to do. And yeah, I've been in franchising, as you saw on my LinkedIn, for over 30 years now. So I've seen it all. I've seen the evolution of franchise brands from 5-unit franchises to 96 master franchises and 15,000 unit franchises. So, and I've spoken to more franchise attorneys and franchise directors and then maybe some new guys entering, and there's just so many different things. So the more people I can help learn about franchising, whether they're interested in a Jantize America area developer master franchise, or they're interested in Jiffy Lube or some other franchise, anything that I can do to help you, Mike, or your other candidates, don't hesitate to reach out.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. So as a franchise consultant, I do work with about 300 different brands. And if you have any questions about either working with Paul and his company or just how the whole franchise system works, I'd encourage you to, if you're watching this video, to either reach out by email to me. It's mike@visionfox.com, or put a message in below this video here, and Paul can chime in. We'll be glad to help just answer questions and help you get to wherever that is that you're trying to go. That's what we both do on a daily basis. Paul, thanks so much for your time today. I'm going to wrap things up and look forward to that second call we're going to do about just your history. I love your work history. It's something that made me
great. Then I'll sell Jantize then. How about that?
What's that?
I'll sell Jantize then. How about that?
Sounds
Pensacola's open,
Sounds good. Again, reach out. You've got my LinkedIn profile below this message. Just ask any questions you have, and we're both here to help you. Paul, thanks again.
Thanks, Mike.